Welcome to the channel for the first time viewers. Welcome back for my existing subscribers. Today's video is going to be, a little different. My goal for this video is just to show you all Game Pass and EA Play, those two services where you can get some games for a set price, and some advantages that I've experienced. I have both, but some advantages that I've experienced throughout the years, and talk about my overall experience with these. So with EA Play, since I'm already in here, this is the interface. You have to use the EA app. They're phasing out Origin, which was, how I liked to use a lot of my EA games. I just had more features. They are starting to bring back a lot more of the features. So, like, for instance, you can now repair games. It's been like that for a while. The one thing I don't know for 100% with 100% certainty is whether or not you can find a game. Like, let's say you reinstall Windows, find a game, and then go ahead and, rather than reinstalling it, just have the launcher located. So over here on the left rail, you got your installed games. I got Battlefield 2042, Battlefield 5, Dead Space, EA Sports, FIFA 23. They lost the FIFA name, so it's FC 24 next year. Excuse me. Jedi Survivor, right? So you have all these games that I have installed. Then you have your library. So if you click on that tab right there, you can go ahead and see all of your different games that you own. One quick call out here for the EA, for a lot of the EA games, if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can actually get free games, and a lot of them are EA games. So I got, so far, I think it was the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi the Squadrons game. Now, this wasn't like the best game ever. And one of these, either, I don't think it was the remastered. But I got this included with my Prime subscription. So always check your Prime when you go to Amazon Games to see what games, and this is regardless whether you have EA Play Pro or not. It's if you have Amazon Prime. And then you can just grab the code, link your EA account, and throw it in there, and you're good to go, right? So this is one way to get some free games. So again, up top installed, download my games. So these are the games I actually have added to my library or own. So they're mine. I purchased them, or I got them through Amazon and now they're mine. Or I just went ahead and added them to my library. So like, let's say this one here, I can go ahead and there's an option to add it to your library. So it's already installed, but that's how that would work. Let's go ahead and look at the browse feature. So here you can go ahead, take a quick pause. I'll show you some of the features here and how to look at this screen. All right, all that Canada smoke got me, it's wild out here. Got me with a scratchy throat and everything. I'm not even near Canada, but anyways. Here in this screen under the browse, you have your featured games. This is what EA wants you to, they want you to play. They got games under $10, blah, 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 right? Games between 10 and 20. And you could see how this all works. But if you go to all games, we're going to talk about the two different tiers of their subscription right now. So with EA Play, it's $5 a month, right? So it's $5 and you get access to the playlist, all of the games with the white tag. It's just the way I could tell you. So you'll see EA Play Pro and you'll see EA Play. The difference between the two, again, like I said, is just going to be that EA Play Pro allows for you to have unlimited access to the newer games. So when a game is getting ready to come out, it's usually the deluxe version with EA is like 2 to 5 days early access. So if you have EA Play Pro, you're going to get the 2 to 5 days early access there. Versus EA Play, you could be as early as 3 to 6 months, all the way to like a year and a half. If a game is doing really, really well and it's selling really, really well and they're not starving for players, you're going to see that come to EA Play Pro or EA Play way down the line. It's not going to be like hey, let's hurry up and get it in here so we can get more players. They're going to, because remember, they're just getting the one-time $30 for the year from that one user that is now playing that game. So let's talk about the price. So EA Play is significantly less. It's only $5 a month, right? So if I click on this drop down, I can click on EA Play. Now this takes away everything that is requiring me to have Pro. So as you can see, Jedi Fallen Order is gone. The PGA game is gone. The Immortals, all the newer games are gone. But if you're just looking to build a library and you just want a couple games to play, this is still going to be valuable, right? So again, this is only $5 a month or $30 a year. And when we get to talking about Game Pass, that's where it's included over there. So if you're really trying to balance out which one's best, that'll help you out a little bit. So here you see Battlefield 2042. You got a couple pages, so you got 86 results. So let's go to page 2. And I don't know why page 3 exists. I wish they would do some more of the Medal of Honors, but they only have like Airborne. My mouse is fighting me, so I don't know what that's about. And here you just got some older games like Syndicate, SimCity 2000, and just really old games, right? So Ultima, I have never played that, but again, $30, not bad. So if we go to EA Play Pro, as you can see, everything sits there. All these newer games show up. So FC 24 because they lost the FIFA name, Madden 24, FIFA 24. Now these are the people I feel would benefit from EA Play Pro. It is $15 a month, but if you buy it annually, so if you pay for it one time, it ends up being about $100. So it's $100 here in the US. So with that, the person that would be best for, let's say you were going to buy Madden, at this point, it's actually a better deal just to pay the $100 than to get like the Ultimate Edition or something of Madden. Because it's $70, the Ultimate Edition is probably going to be $80. So why not spend $20 and just get the deluxe, 20 more and get the deluxe? Now, granted, the disadvantage is that it's not yours. So if you stop paying your subscription, you no longer own that game. The way I look at it, though, is I got this when, I don't know, I've had it since Xbox 360 and Madden 2012, right? There was a EA Sports Pass. So it was only like $30 and you had like 10 hours early access to all the sports games. So that's what it was originally for. But that was, how I got introduced to this. I've been paying for this for a long time. But then they did EA Play Pro, or back then it was Origin Pro. And that gave you more than just sports games. It gave you the Battlefield games. So for me, I was like, okay, I already buy Battlefield. That was $60. I already buy Madden. That's $60. And I was buying so many other EA games like FIFA. And at that point, I was spending probably $240. It's like 4 games a year from EA. So when you really take a look at it, this was actually a good deal. Now, where it's become a piss poor deal is these poor releases, right? So, but think about it this way. If I had spent $60 on Battlefield 2042, I'd be pissed, right? The game was trash. It's in a good place now, to the point where I actually played more Battlefield this week than I played Modern Warfare. But again, if I had spent $60 on it, I'd be heated. Madden has been the same Madden on PC since essentially Madden 18, with some improvements, right? Some basic graphical improvements. And we're still running on the Xbox One PS4 version of Madden on top of all that. And so now you have Madden is, included in this. So I was already buying that. I was already buying all the Battlefield games. I was already buying the FIFA games. And now you have access to all these other games that I normally would not have tried. So earlier, when the 4090 was brand new, the Need for Speed Unbound came out. So I had what happened to my English there? I had benchmarked that game, but I wouldn't have bought it, right? So it's included in EA Play Pro. So now I think it might be even regular EA Play, right? Because it's been a little bit now, and the hype is kind of gone for that game. But overall, value-wise, I feel like it's a really good value. The launcher is kind of trash, but it is what it is. It could be worse. And we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about Game Pass, because Game Pass is really where it's at. Okay, so originally we were looking at, let me see what it is overall, how many games you get overall here. So 150 games is what EA Play with Pro has. So let's go to Game Pass. So Game Pass is unique in the fact that it's multiple publishers and it's all of the Microsoft published games. So 442 results on PC. Game Pass is also $10 a month, so it's not that bad. And it includes EA Play. So if you really broke down the two, if you were going to buy EA Play and that was $5, it's like another $5 for Game Pass. Now, what kind of sucks is that Game Pass for PC used to be $5 a month. And I don't even know when it went up because I had the conversion. Plus, when I was working, we got a free Game Pass code. So I had the conversion back in like 2019 or 2020. when Game Pass on PC was still kind of new. But if you had any Xbox Live and you bought any Game Pass subscription, it flipped over your Xbox Live time that was left into Game Pass. So you could buy the 1 month of Game Pass, and if you had 2 years of Live, it would automatically flip you into 2 years of Game Pass. So that was actually pretty cool, and it was Game Pass Ultimate. So here in this left rail, you got My Library, you got cloud gaming. So if you happen to be on your phone, this is just a more robust solution overall, right? So I have Game Pass Ultimate, so it's cloud gaming. I think Game Pass Ultimate is $15, but it's Xbox Live Gold. It's pretty much everything that you could think of as far as that whole platform. So it's Xbox Live Gold, which you don't need on PC, but it's also your PC Game Pass, and it's cloud gaming included. So if I wanted a game on my phone or anything like that, then I'd be able to. As you can see, some of my EA games are already showing up, as well as Halo and Exo Primal, which I'm going to give a shot. Again, Game Pass is like one of those services where it's just wild, man. You could think of it like a Netflix, except it actually has some good games, right? So Lies of P, I'm going to try it out. It's a day one game that's coming out. So the cool thing is not just the Microsoft games will launch directly into Game Pass. So as you can see, Starfield down here. My mouse sensitivity is all the way high. Starfield right here on the 5th, unless it gets delayed. And then like a week later, a week and a half later, you get Lies of P. So Payday 3. All these games are coming to Game Pass pretty much at launch. So rather than spending 60, or even if this comes out at 40, 40, you got 60, you got 60. I mean, you've already started. You can see how it starts to build up. And to top it off, you get all of your EA Play games, right? So all those games that we had initially seen, there's about 10 missing. Because remember, in the EA, there was like 85. But here, we have our trials. So F123, 10-hour trial. EA, the PGA game, the golf game, that is a 10-hour trial. And you have a 10-hour trial of Wild Hearts. So you could try those games out. Once you do your trial, that's it, though. So here's all the games that you have included with your Game Pass subscription from EA Play. So this is actually pretty cool. So here's that Populous, that really old game that was at the last page pretty much. Dead Space 3. I don't remember seeing that. I didn't see that in EA Play. Maybe I missed it. But that's pretty cool. I was looking at my library, that's why. All right, but yeah, back to it. So all these games are from EA directly, right? So that was about 75 of them. And if we go to, let's say, Game Pass here, you can look at the recently added games. You just click through there. You can see all the PC games. And what I like about the filters in Game Pass, we saw the filters in EA Play, but it wasn't really anything fantastic. So next I'm going to talk about the filters and how you can really find what you're looking for in Game Pass, whether it's I want to see what the newest games that were released that are now in this service, right? Like I don't want to play 5-year-old games or 3-year-old games or anything. I want to see what just recently came out. So I'm going to show you how to do that and how to get straight to it. All right, so here we have our filters, and this is pretty cool because Microsoft's really big on accessibility. So you have all these accessibility features, but it also has some how long to beat, right? So it has some integration with how long to beat. So the shortest to longest, so Disc Room, all these, Peppa Pig, these are about an hour, 3 hours. It tell you about how long it should take you to beat a game. So if you just want something to kind of hop in, finish it, and hop out, there you go. You have that there. It has that integration. Or if you want to go to the longest, so League of Legends, take you 1,600 hours to beat. I don't even know how you beat that, but there you go. Again, all these games going from longest to shortest. I never knew Farming Simulator would take that long. That's kind of gangsta. And then you have recently added to Game Pass. So this is actually one of the reasons I made this video, because I saw Insurgency Sandstorm pop up, and I was like, that's pretty dope. And I installed the Exo Primal game just to give it a shot. I'm looking for it. I'll run a couple benchmarks. But hey, it cost me nothing other than the subscription. So, I mean, if I hate it, I just remove it, get my space back. But again, this goes in order of recency added to Game Pass. And then you have another section for new release. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe it's on the main page. It's not gonna be recent. Well, you can find a lot of the new releases on the recently added. Really, it's this section to kind of plan out which games are coming next. All right, so here we have the coming to Game Pass section. So again, you can just see what is actually coming out, when it's coming out, and this is obviously if it doesn't get delayed. But Forza Motorsport, that should be a pretty damn good game. Now, what I've noticed with the Forza is that they haven't been putting the higher tier edition in Game Pass. So with Horizon, I was excited to play it, and I actually ended up having to wait until the actual launch, which wasn't the case in the past. You usually got the higher end, the deluxe editions of the games. But with the Game Pass, you know, they still want to make the $100. So if you spend $100, you got the actual Forza experience, where you got it like 5 days or 3 days early. But if you didn't and you just waited for the Game Pass that was included with your subscription, then you just got the whatever the regular launch was, which is whatever, right? I mean, there was a point where we didn't even have all that. Then you got the regular store, and again, anything you download, you can just find it right in here in this panel. So here is a game I downloaded with Game Pass. The rest, actually this one too, I downloaded the campaign to do a benchmark here. But see, it will say see an EA app. So that means, of course, I got to jump into the EA app to get that. But here, what I will say about Game Pass is that it's kind of rough when it comes to game management, from the aspect of I've wiped my Windows before and the Game Pass folder has a DRM lock on it. So for example, on your drive, if you have 200 gigs of games that are associated with Game Pass, whether it's a Plague's Tale, Requiem, or whatever the case might be, let's say you wanted to start clearing out some of that space, you can't. You have to actually go into safe mode and remove those folders. So you can't just delete it because it has admin permissions, and then you have to do a whole. It's way too much work for what's actually going on, right? So again, I didn't like that. I didn't think that was. I thought that was a bad look for Game Pass in general. But other than that, so my advice to you would be, if you are going to get Game Pass, it's fantastic. Again, it's $10 for Game Pass for PC, and Game Pass Ultimate, I think, is $15, which gives you the cloud gaming. And if you have an Xbox, you can go ahead and sign in on Xbox and get Xbox Live Gold as well. But the biggest thing I was saying is that if you're going to wipe your PC, you need to go to your Game Pass games and you need to uninstall them, right? That's the easiest way, and you have to remember that. So for me, again, I haven't wiped one of these PCs in like 8 months, but that was something that I would have to go into a safe mode and mess with the permissions on the folders in my C drive to be able to delete that. And that was really annoying. And I've created like a ticket, but nothing happened, and it's still the same way. But here you have manage, you can uninstall the games. It gives you the option to kind of browse the files, change it, verify and repair. So you have all the basic stuff that you need, right? So change the drive, that's pretty cool. That wasn't easily accessible in the EA Play application. So here it just says I created a folder called Xbox, check for updates. I think that's the bare minimum. So overall, it's a competent launcher. And seeing Insurgency in there was really cool because I've been playing Insurgency for a long time. This is the Windows version of this, so I might go ahead and give it a go just to see if there's any performance difference, if it's like jacked up on the Windows version. And I mean, it's included with the subscription, so it wouldn't make a difference. It's not like you lost money. If it was all messed up, then it's a sad story. But at least you didn't pay for it, right? Well, that's what I got for this video. Let's bring it back and we'll wrap it all up. Key points is that EA Play, the $5 version, is included in the Game Pass for PC. And with that, you also have your EA Play Pro, which is $100 a year or $15 per month. And with the EA Play Pro, you get access to all of the new EA games that are not in the EA Play. So the little white label that I mentioned earlier. So that is going to be like your FIFA 24 or your FC 24, your Maddens, your F1 23, Jedi Survivor. And these are not time limited. Versus in the Game Pass version of EA Play or the standalone EA Play, you get 10 hours to try those games, and that's it, right? So you get 10 hours, and it's not every new game. So usually it's before a game comes out, they give you a 10-hour trial if that game is running a trial. I've noticed story games, they tend to not give a trial, so they don't have spoilers. But yeah. That's to me, it's just, okay, well, why not just get Pro if you were going to buy more than one of these games anyways, right? Like I said earlier, the only downside is it's not yours. So if you don't pay for the subscription next year, you end up losing access to those games. But the other way you can look at that is if you spend $100, you have those games for the year. This game was like $20 the next year. So, if you really, really wanted it that bad, you could just buy it. And that's just the way I see that last piece there. Then we switched over, talked about Game Pass, some of the options, some of what's available, looking at your library, some of the features in there, and taking a look at what's coming down the pipeline, which is coming to Game Pass, so you can start to plan out your downloads or just to see what's coming. Sometimes there are surprises, some games that just pop up and then you're like, oh, okay, and they just happen to be in Game Pass. So yeah. Keep an eye out for there. You can click on all PC games, and you can also hit see all plans. Like mine's getting ready to expire in, I don't know, like a year. Yeah, 2 years. 2026, I think mine expires. And that's from, converting over that live to it. But yeah, with that, I'm going to let you all go. And yeah, hopefully this helps some of y'all out. It's still expensive. It's not like it's cheap, but it's cheaper than buying 3 games. And at the rate of these games, even with Game Pass Ultimate, I think it comes out to like $180 for the year. If you were to buy 3 AAA games, what is that? $210, and then you add some tax to it. And that's just USD. So I don't know what it costs in other regions and territories. But right now in the US, it'll be about $180. And these games are like $70 each. And that seems to be the norm. And the last little kudos, the last little shout out is going to be to Assassin's Creed. So the new Mirage game, I want to say, is just coming out at $50 or $59. Let me see. Creed, Mirage, price, PC. I think it's $49. That's crazy. That can't be true. Look at that, it's already $39. CD keys. I actually get a lot of keys from CD keys. Before I get too crazy, there it is. Ubisoft Store is $49, so $50. I thought it was gonna be $60, but $50. Yeah, I might actually buy that just to support the idea that it's that $50 and $60 game should be the norm. So right, I think I'll get that just to prove a point and make sure that this game is successful. I appreciate and like the Assassin's Creed franchise anyways, but again, I think that this is what games should cost, right? $60 was a stretch. $70 is painful. Like I look at the $70 tags all the time, and I'm like, man, I can't really get down with this. This is crazy. So definitely gonna roll with this here, and you'll see some benchmarks. With that, I'll catch you on the flip. Be easy.